The summer had begun like any other, lazy and open-ended, but it quickly morphed into the strangest and most transformative period of my life. It started subtly, with Mom insisting I take these new vitamins she'd procured. She called them a special blend for a growing body, but they came in a small, unmarked bottle that she kept tucked away in the very back of the kitchen cabinet. Each morning, she'd press one into my palm with a bright, almost nervous smile. I swallowed them without question, a small daily ritual that felt innocuous enough. The changes in my wardrobe were the next phase. Mom began to gently encourage me to sift through boxes of my cousin Susie's old clothes. Susie was a few years older, and her style was undeniably, unequivocally feminine. At Mom's urging, I started pulling on her soft, worn-in jeans that hugged my hips in a new way, and blouses with delicate buttons and fabrics that felt whisper-soft against my skin. They felt odd, restrictive, and revealing all at once. But the way Mom's eyes lit up when she saw me in them made me push the discomfort aside. Her approval was a warm, intoxicating thing. Then came the makeup. It was just a little at first. A swipe of glossy, tinted balm that made my lips look fuller, a dab of blush that gave my cheeks a healthy, peachy glow. I'd stare at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, watching a stranger emerge from my own face. The boy I knew was receding, and in his place was someone softer, more ambiguous. It was like playing a part in a play, dressing in a costume that was slowly starting to feel less like a disguise. My days were simple, spent mostly lounging by our backyard pool. The sun beat down, turning my skin a deep golden bronze. I drift for hours on a pool float, usually wearing just my swim trunks, the world reduced to the blue of the water and the bright white of the sun. Mom was always at work during these hours, leaving early and returning late, so I had the house and the pool to myself. It was during one of these solitary afternoons that everything shifted. I was floating on my back, eyes closed against the glare, the water lapping gently at my sides. I heard the soft click of the back door opening. Assuming it was the wind or the neighbor's cat, I didn't stir. But then I heard a sharp, startled gasp. My eyes flew open. Mom was standing there, frozen, grocery bag still in her hands. Her eyes were wide, her mouth slightly agape. It was the first time I had ever seen her so completely caught off guard. Her gaze wasn't on my face, it was fixed on my chest. For a few heartbeats, we just stared at each other in the humming summer silence. Then, slowly, she put the bags down and managed a shaky smile. "Honey," she started, her voice trembling just a bit, I think that we should be asking Aunt Martha for Susie's old bathing suits too. Or," she added, her voice gaining a thread of excited certainty, "if you want, we can go shopping and I can buy you some of your own. A bikini, maybe. Either way, you need to be covered up top, sweetheart." Confusion swirled through me. Covered up top? Then, with a cold, dawning clarity, it all clicked into place. The unmarked vitamins, the feminine clothes, the makeup tutorials she'd casually left open on my laptop. It wasn't a series of coincidences. The vitamins weren't just vitamins. They were hormones, and they were actively, irrevocably transforming my body, softening my edges, and curving my form. I sat up abruptly, clutching the edge of the pool float, suddenly hyper-aware of the new, tender weight on my chest, a development I'd been lazily ignoring. Mom sat down at the pool's edge, dipping her feet into the water. "I should have talked to you about this sooner," she said, her voice soft and thick with emotion. I thought this might be easier for you, to ease into it, without all the scary labels and decisions." "I didn't ask for this," I said, the words coming out heavier and more wounded than I intended. "I know," she replied, reaching out a hand to me, "and I'm so sorry. We'll figure this out together, okay? Whatever you need, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. Together." As I looked at her, seeing the genuine worry etched into her features, a war erupted inside me. A part of me wanted to be furious, to yell and demand to know how she could make such a choice for me. But another part, a quieter, calmer, and strangely curious part, felt a surge of relief. This summer of changes wasn't just happening to me, it was about discovering a part of me I hadn't known how to acknowledge. Okay, I said, finally, my voice barely a whisper over the pool's filter. I took her hand. Let's figure this out together. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions and decisions. We started by setting aside a whole Saturday for a long overdue conversation. We camped out in the living room with old albums, cups of tea, and a box of tissues ready for tears, laughter, and everything in between. She began by explaining everything. The vitamins were indeed hormone replacement therapy pills she had obtained through a friend who knew a doctor. Mom confessed that she had always sensed something in me, a dissonance between the boy she saw and the person she felt I was inside. She'd noticed my lingering glances at women's fashion, my quiet fascination with the easy intimacy of girlhood, the way I'd sometimes experiment with my voice when I thought no one was listening. She just wanted to protect me, she confessed, her voice thick with regret. I wanted to spare you the confusion and pain, the kind I saw in some of my friends' kids who wrestled with these feelings alone. I thought that if I could just help you along, make the path smoother. But I was wrong. I took decisions that weren't mine to make. As I listened, a mix of anger and profound understanding brewed inside me. It was a violation, a monumental breach of trust. Yet her intentions, however misguided, were woven from a deep, desperate love. This acknowledgement didn't erase the hurt, but it paved a fragile path towards forgiveness. We need to set some boundaries, Mom, I said, my voice firmer than I expected. From now on, any decisions about my body and my identity, I make. If I need help, I'll ask. Of course, she agreed, nodding vigorously, tears welling in her eyes. Whatever you decide, I'm here. Always. We spent the next part of our conversation discussing practical steps. We decided together that I would see a therapist, a professional who could guide me through the tangled forest of my feelings about gender identity. We researched and found a specialist who worked with teenagers, and we made an appointment. That first visit was enlightening. For the first time, I spoke freely about the surreal experience of the summer, the initial confusion, the secret thrill of seeing my body change, the fear, and the unexpected moments of rightness when I caught my new reflection. She listened intently, providing a neutral, supportive space I hadn't realized I craved. It's okay to not have all the answers right now, she said, a simple statement that lifted a weight off my shoulders I hadn't even known I was carrying. Empowered by those words, I began to take more active steps. With Mom by my side, I went shopping not just for clothes, but for my choices. We didn't just get Susie's hand-me-downs, we picked out pieces that felt authentically me. A sleek one-piece swimsuit that made me feel elegant and secure. A flowing sundress that swirled around my legs when I walked. We also bought my first real bra, a moment that was both intimidating and deeply affirming. The freedom to choose was intoxicating. Back at home, our experiments continued. Mom, with a new respect for my autonomy, became my eager accomplice. She taught me how to shave my legs properly, the bathroom filled with the scent of lavender shaving cream and our shared laughter. We practiced with makeup, with her showing me how to line my eyes and apply mascara without poking myself. These were no longer secret, shameful things, but skills, rituals of a new identity I was actively choosing to explore. As summer waned and the new school year loomed, I felt a nervous excitement instead of pure dread. On the first day of school, I stood before my full-length mirror in an outfit that was entirely my choice, a pair of tailored women's trousers and a delicate, silky top. I was not the same person who had started the summer, nor was I fully transformed. I was somewhere in between, a work in progress. The journey wasn't simple or easy, but it was mine. And with the support of a mother who had learned as much about letting go as I had about holding on, that made all the difference.